All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. This video will be more of my rants about Van Halen, Wolfgang Van Halen, and why I think Wolfgang needs to be a little bit more like Deacon Frey. And I say that with all due respect to both the late, great Eddie Van Halen and the late, great Deacon Frey. If you recall, when Deacon Frey passed away, Don Henley was like, this is done. It's over. Okay. You can't have the Eagles without Glenn Frey. And a lot of people have said, same with Van Halen. You cannot have Van Halen without Eddie Van Halen. Interesting that David Lee Roth and Alex Van Halen are talking these days, which to me might indicate that a relationship is still there, which also might indicate that they could work together again. Now, the whole idea of Deacon Frey being in the Eagles was, number one, he's the son of Glenn Frey, so people are far more forgiving. In other words, well, you did replace him with his kid. And I'm not sure if Deacon Frey had a solo career that he was going to embark on. I think Deacon Frey realizes that, this is a legacy and I'm here to keep that legacy alive. I'm not here to create my own legacy necessarily. My life might be just standing in for my dad, which isn't really a bad thing. Now, I understand, Wolfgang, he wants to create his own music and he has, and it's pretty good. But Van Halen fans are like, you know what you could do? You could represent your dad. You could move over to guitar, have Michael Anthony come back on bass, and I think you would have the most unstoppable world tour in the history of world tours. Irving Azoff will be ringing your phone off the hook saying, okay, how many dates can we book? And we got to have Sammy, we got to have Dave, we might have Gary, because you can afford to pretty much pay everybody, right? If you're going to sell that many tickets, you might even invite Mitch Malloy. I know he's kind of busy with Great White these days, but you might want to give him a call. Just, do the kitchen sink. And actually, if it's a 2-part sink, you got extra room, so you can just bring everybody in. And I think it's totally plausible. And Wolfie can still do his solo career, right? Nobody's going to say, hey, quit your solo career, but do the Van Halen thing. Get the Van Halen machine back up and running. Why not? I mean, look, Van Halen survived, what, 3 different singers, 2 or 3 different breakups. If you look at what happened in the 80s, nobody thought the band could continue. You bring in Sammy Hagar. That was a great merger. And you keep going. And then Sammy leaves and you actually have Gary Sharon, which didn't work out so well. But then you had Sammy come back. Then you had Dave come back. And so you could have everybody who sang for the group, and you have Michael Anthony coming back to play bass. And by the way, I think that's appropriate to have Michael Anthony come back to play bass in Van Halen after what happened to him over the years. I think he deserves to be back in Van Halen playing bass again. And again, using the Deacon Frey analogy, which is very appropriate. I mean, technically, the Eagles are America's favorite band. They've sold more albums than I think any American band. I don't know. Van Halen combined maybe has sold more. I'm not sure. But the point is, when people think Americana, American bands, Eagles, Beach Boys, Chicago, I know Van Halen is probably in the top 5 or 10, but the point I'm trying to make is that if you can do it with Glenn Frey, you can do it with Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen as a musician was far more important than Glenn Frey was as a musician. I will say this, but Glenn Frey was more important probably as a songwriter and as somebody who helped compose the great American songbook of rock, Glenn Frey. So again, It's apples and oranges, but you're still replacing somebody with their offspring. In this case, I think fans would be forgiving. People would say things like, well, if you've got to replace him, and that was Don Henley's argument. He's like the apprentice. He's going in, he's learning the craft, and people, when they see him on stage, I get the fact that Wolfie does not look like his dad. He looks like his mom, but still people will be able to relate and say, hey, that's Eddie's son. He's up there and he's doing a great job. And people are forgiving because they know that there's only one Eddie Van Halen, just like they're forgiving. They know there's only one Glenn Frey. To me, this works out. This sounds like a plan. Will it ever happen? Don't think so. But it's certainly something that people ought to be considering. And it's up to Wolfie. It's up to Alex. Maybe it's up to Dave. Who knows who it's really up to, but it's an idea I think that would really work. And imagine the Van Halen World Tour featuring Wolfie and featuring all of the past members of Van Halen on stage performing. That would be one that would probably top every concert tour that's ever been. So dollar signs, yes. Happy fans, absolutely. Stuff to talk about for years and years. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing it for my own channel, right? Imagine talking about those guys back on tour. That would be fantastic. I think if you're going to have a rock revival, that would help start it. You know what I'm saying? All right. I am done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for new subscribers yesterday and new patrons on Patreon. That's always appreciated. You can subscribe to, or sign up rather, for Patreon, just $1 a month. If you want to give $2, $5, that's up to you. But I take the dollar and I'm happy. So there you go. I'll talk to you soon.